Hey guys, what's going on? We are back with another Enhancement Shaman Mythic Plus video, and we are doing a plus 14 Streets of Wonder. Now this key, this is actually a Resi key, and the first time we did it, we did the first Lust pull with the mini boss, and that went sideways real quick, so we quickly restarted, and yeah, it was a good run. Had to clutch out the final boss, but overall, I would say it went pretty smooth, and you can tell I am playing deeply rooted elements mainly because I'm doing no damage at the moment because I haven't procced. But yeah. Anyways, enhancement right now. Well, actually, this season, I don't know about enhancement specifically, but I felt burnt out a bit faster than I usually am. I don't know if it's because of enhancement being a little bit weirder right now in a way, but overall, I think this season has burnt me out pretty quick. And that also could be because of the dungeon repeating. So this season, all these dungeons aside from Ecodome, sorry, we've already done, and it's it definitely feels weird. I don't know, like I don't know if that has a reason to do with it or not, but it just I've just been so burnt out. I haven't really felt the desire to play and push keys at the moment. I've just been kind of coasting along, getting everything done slowly, but enjoying other games, I guess. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4, touching up on Borderlands 4 every once in a while, and Overwatch 2. But yeah, WoW right now has felt a bit lackluster. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping Legion Remix is gonna reignite the fire to want to play WoW as much as possible. But we got another couple weeks until that happens, so we'll hopefully have something fun to do by then, and hopefully maybe even see some patch notes because I do believe we have both the MDI and the AWC coming up. So I think they will either put out a set of patch notes before those tournaments start or afterwards. I'm not sure exactly on which way, but now enhancement isn't, we're not. Oh, I don't want to say completely dead in the water, but we are slightly behind. And the fact that we don't do any damage outside of Ascendant is a big issue to that. So if they're gonna address our damage, they need to address it outside of Ascendance rather than inside of Ascendance, because right now we're basically just nothing. And I mean Totemic's just dead in the water. So I played it I think this week during our heroic re-clear, and for Fractilis, I think I topped out at like 4.5 million DPS maybe, which is like 1 million to 1.5 million less than what I would do with Stormbringer. So yeah, it's quite quite behind, surprisingly. And I also learned that Warcraft logs only tracks your highest amount of DPS output, not based on which hero talents you've chosen. So it it, it didn't put anything up there. So I really have no idea who the best Totemic players are. Just the people that only play Totemic, really. So it I don't know if anybody else is has really tried to push its numbers. Now I have a significant amount of haste, as you can see, so I don't think Totemic really works out in my favor. But at the same time, it is what it is, I guess. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, that's the hope. So if we get something soon, I'm crossing my fingers it's an outside of Ascendance buff or just a straight Totemic buff as well. Because yeah, it's definitely feeling a bit lackluster at the moment. And as much as I love Ascendance, all I'm doing during that is pressing Wind Strike. That's it. No other button matters. So I I, I think I brought this up last week. I really do hope they have a change for Ascendance, and I had a thought about a certain change for Ascendance, and that would be while you're in Ascendance, all your attacks and abilities do bonus elemental damage, maybe something like that. Now that could get out of hand pretty quick, but it makes Ascendance more valued in both Totemic and Stormbringer as well, rather than just hammering down Windstrike. And they could keep the original design of Windstrike and give it the range, but like remove the added bonuses to it or something. Like maybe remove Thorm's Invocation, because I think Thorm's Invocation is a real issue for Enhancement Shaman in general. Um but like keep the bonus range of it. But I mean, that's just a thought. I don't know if that would actually be any good or what, but it's something to think about. I don't know if you guys have had thoughts about what could change and stuff like that. But yeah, I really it's been a season so far. It really has. But I mean, I can't quite complain. Enhancement is still performing, uh decently well in a way. We're not in the middle of the pack even. We're below that, but I'd say our chances to pass other classes is actually decently high with the amount of RNG, but that also shows the amount of DPS we can lose potentially because of RNG as well. So it's it's definitely something else. But we do bring a lot of utility to the group, but I mean, why bring an Enhanced Shaman when you have the option of bringing an Ellie Shaman, which we also have in the group, who absolutely decimated me on the damage meters on almost every single pull, which is kind of funny. But it it is what it is. We'll hopefully see something from Blizzard soon enough. But also on another note, Blizzard brought out a Diablo 4 cosmetic patch from StarCraft, which I thought was really cool, and that gave me the thought of, why don't we get cool cosmetics like that for World of Warcraft? Like a Kerrigan suit, Kerrigan wings, or like, a Tychus armor or a Raynar armor. Like something like that, or like an Overwatch collab or something. Like, I feel like people would buy these super cool transmog sets, but or maybe riding a battle cruiser around. I don't know, that'd be sick. I don't even care if we have to pay for it or whatever. Just some cool crap that they could bring out. I don't know. Like they give us like little companions. That's cool and all, but like doesn't compare to riding around a Brutalisk or a friggin' battle cruiser from Terran or a carrier ship, something. I don't know. It's just like I feel like people would buy those, and I know a lot of people hate like the shop and stuff like that, and I agree it really is a money grab, but I still think that would be cool as crap. Like just seeing that stuff would be sick. I'd love to ride around on a battle cruise or whatever. Obviously make it a an affordable price, not $90. Maybe make it like, I don't know, $15 or something, or add it into like the yearly subscription thingy. That'd be good. I don't know. I feel like people would be more willing to pay for something like that, but more people would buy it if it was a lower price. For instance, if you look at some of the Diablo cosmetics, they're really really cool. And I've bought a few of them, but I feel like people would be more willing to buy stuff if it was somewhat cheaper, rather than, for instance, character transfers. Um, Now, ideally, they don't. I don't think they really want you to transfer your characters, so it is still a high price, but maybe like the mounts. Let's go with the mounts from the shop, like um I don't know, the golden dragon or whatever. I think each one of those is like $30 or something. If they put that down to like $15, I feel like they would get twice the amount of sales. I don't know. I mean, they do make their money off of the people that are more willing to pay for it or the mount collectors and stuff like that. But I feel like more of the average person would be willing to pay for it if it was like half the price. Like you would probably get twice the amount of purchases and gaining the same amount, right? So, but I don't know how all that works anyways. I don't know what their purchases look like and stuff like that. So, but it's just my guess. But I don't even care. I would totally pay whatever amount, well, almost whatever amount, just to ride a battle cruiser around from StarCraft. That'd be really cool. I feel like they're missing out on some uh Blizzard collaboration crap that they got going on because whew, that'd be so cool. But my buddy did bring up that it'd kind of look weird, but I don't know. We got some random shit in WoW right now, so I don't think it would be all that weird to be honest. But who knows? Who knows? Like, let's be honest. Like the whole WoW world has gone into chaos, so why not just bring in some crazy crap to, really spice it up? And plus it's just cosmetic. It's not like it's doing anything crazy either. But and the stuff in Diablo doesn't even change your spell effects, which I think it should. For instance, like the Necromancer, you could summon instead of skeletons and stuff, you'd summon like Zerlings and things. You could do the same thing maybe for I don't know, World of Warcraft, maybe. I don't know, hunters. You could call down like actually that's just getting out of control maybe. Um I was just thinking of something crazy, but that's probably not a good idea. So, but yeah, it's just things like that would be so cool to see. I don't know. I don't see why they don't commit to more collabs with their other games. Like World of Warcraft is probably like I think it's for sure their most popular game that they have out there. And honestly, I feel like a majority of the player base does dabble in their other games, whether it's Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch, whatever, even Warcraft Rumble. I love that game. Like I feel like they could make some serious cash just on that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to promote, you know, why not just give it out for free? That'd be best. But I mean, they got to make their money somehow, and their subs have been lowering. But oh, maybe this is just a wild conversation. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they should just fix their game first. It'd be something else. But I did hear that they're potentially maybe well, I guess I shouldn't really say that, but I've had thoughts of why don't they just start like a WoW 2 in a sense, and I feel like a lot of people have also mentioned something like that. And again, no idea how much work that would be, but basically all your cosmetics and stuff would carry over and the game would be smaller and you'd be starting fresh in a sense, but you'd keep all your mounts and stuff that you've collected and earned across World of Warcraft. But I don't know how much work that would be to put in because each and every patch they're stacking this very fragile code on top of other fragile code, and once one of those lines goes, the whole game's just gonna crash. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if they were to start another WoW 2, I feel like it would be a good idea if they do. But apparently they got Classic Plus coming out in some sort of form on the China servers, which is like bonus XP or something, and you're playing like all I think you're playing Classic, um Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King all at the same time. Something like that. Which I think is pretty cool. But and they mentioned something about bringing it to I believe North America servers or even Europe servers or the current live servers of whatever. I think that'd be something fun, and they're releasing it in certain patches. You never know when you're going to get this raid and so on and so forth. So something like that is cool, but I'm really banking on what this whole Classic Plus theme is going to be that they're cooking up. So because I really did enjoy Season of Discovery, but it's just I don't even know if it's a good idea either because currently the WoW community is just super split. Like, not only do we have PvP and PvE, but we have retail, we have Mists of Pandaria, we now have the WoW Anniversary servers, which is going on to Burning Crusade. We have the WoW Classic servers, the WoW Classic Hardcore servers, and then technically we still have side servers, but they're kind of like in maintenance mode, I guess. And any other stuff that I have forgotten about, possibly, is yeah. So we got five, six if you want to count sod, different WoW communities right now, which isn't really a I don't want to say a bad idea, but it definitely makes the community feel smaller in each zone. So whether or not they have an idea or something for that, I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of crazy how many different WoWs there are, and I know everybody prefers their own thing. So, but bringing out something that caters to all is definitely a question because WoW has become more of a I want to say more of an esport rather than a RPG game with Mythic Plus and the PvP scenarios, also the Race to World First. But they have brought out some good things like delves and stuff. But that's another thing I want to talk about: a solo progression system, like a solo Mythic Plus, like kind of like the way Mop Remix turned out, where people were just soloing Mythic and stuff. Not necessarily exactly like that, but you could like in a way Torghast, but not Torghast, where you're forced to do it for the dumb legendary craps. Um, it'd be more like you do this for you unlock cosmetic at this level, or you just, you're on the leaderboards. You get a title, solo dungeon or whatever for getting, to level 100 on Torghast Infinite floors, whatever. Torghast is just an example, but I definitely want something like a solo infinite progression system because delves, as fun as they are, as an enhanced shaman, they feel like crap. At least from my personal experience, I don't know if anybody has had better experience with them, but it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare trying to do an 11 as an enhanced shaman is just like it doesn't feel possible. You're just about getting one shot, and then I go in on either my prot warrior or blood DK at like you know 100 item levels below what the recommended amount, and you're just steamrolling it because you're a tank, and it's just easier. It doesn't make any sense. Why is this so like that irks me, but I have heard in Legion remix that you're going to be able to solo a bunch of keys. Obviously, once you get a certain amount of gear, which really entices me because I do love solo content. That's why I love Diablo 4 a lot, or all the Diablo games. You go into it, you do keys, you do all this solo content, and you have fun. You push the limits of your character, which is a blast, which I want to do on WoW, but I can't. But WoW is more of a it definitely is more of a team game, I guess. So it does require a bit more community, and I know we have been a very split community as of late, but it's something that I've crossed my fingers for ever since Torghast came out. I loved the idea of Torghast. I did not love the fact that it forced it upon us to get our legendaries and stuff like that. That was a terrible idea, and I think Blizzard already understands that they screwed up with that. But I think overall Torghast was an actual good idea in a sense of something to start with. You know, I don't think they should throw it away completely. I think they should build upon it. I really do, because I think it does have potential to bring a lot of players into the game because it's a form of solo progression, right? Like delves are kind of like in a similar boat, but in my opinion, delves kind of hit a real downward point as soon as you got up into the tier levels or whenever they did the changes. It just felt like a nightmare to do delves as a DPS player without any self sustain or anything like that, or very little defense. So it's, I don't know, it's definitely something that I think could benefit WoW is some form of solo. Obviously, not to the point of getting, I don't think you should be getting mythic quality gear, maybe, unless you're really, really pushing it. But I think heroic quality gear is something maybe, you could deal with. I don't know. But it's just a thought because I a lot of times I am solo and pugging is a nightmare, and I know a lot of people don't like pugging, which I don't blame them. This key was a pug, and it wasn't really a nightmare. I got quite lucky, but definitely came down close. But yeah, I feel like a lot more players would play more consistently if there was some form of solo leaderboard concept. You know, like Diablo 4 did have their trials. I don't know if it's still in there. I know at some point they took it away. I don't know if they brought it back. That was a really cool event to do. But then you just have your pit pushing or your greater rifts from Diablo 3 and stuff like that, seeing how high you can go. And that's something fun, And you didn't necessarily lose to taking too much damage. You basically lose to not dealing enough damage, which I think is a much healthier design than what WoW currently has, where you're not hitting the limits of your damage output, you're hitting your limits of damage received. Like you can see by this coin, myself and the hunter, and we're only on a 14, just got knocked to about 30% HP, right? You knock that up a few more key levels, and that's 10%. Like, I feel like the top key pushers aren't hitting a limit to DPS, they're hitting a limit to damage received, which is very unfortunate in my opinion because I feel like the game would be more enjoyable to a sense if you weren't hitting a limit of, oh, you don't have enough defensives to live this. That sucks. Rather than, oh, you don't have enough damage output to complete this. Like, it's definitely something different because whenever I lose a key and it was a clean run, but we just didn't have the damage output to complete it on time, I'm not nearly as frustrated as I am when we're just constantly getting one tapped and stuff like that, right? Just unfortunate things are happening, or somebody got like the boss mechanic 5 times in a row and just didn't have enough defensives to survive through it, right? It's stuff like that that really, makes a difference, in my opinion. So hopefully they have some changes coming in midnight. I don't know. Um, again, I don't know what their plan is for midnight, but they have said they have revamped delves and stuff, so that'll be exciting to see. At least the alpha begins October 1st, I want to say. I believe it begins October 1st with the first 4 leveling zones. Now I am crossing my fingers I get into alpha, but at the same time, I don't think I want to ruin the story for it because I will not want to level. I truly hate doing doing quests twice. Like I really don't enjoy that, but at the same time, it's you know somebody's got to test it, which most of the other people will, I'm sure. But I just want to see class changes, basically, see what their plan is for everything else. But yeah, yeah, that's basically it. I know a lot of this was just random nonsense, especially the the talk about riding a battle cruiser. Just saying that would be so cool. I don't even care if it'd be like $40. Actually, I would, but I'd probably still buy it because I want one. Um, but yeah, like it's just it's wild right now, the season. I'm definitely feeling burnt out. I'm crossing my fingers that they have a patch coming out soon with some form of buff to enhancement, and I don't really think that enhancement being on the lower end of the meters is really burning me out. I think I'm not really sure what is. I have a feeling it's more on the fact that we're doing similar dungeons to what we were doing in the past. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, this boss gets real spicy here with I'm not sure what was going on with the Holy Pally. I had to spot him there. It was a bit terrifying. Thankfully, I did because he survived. But they wanted to pass through and go to triangle right away. I was just waiting till square. be honest. And we didn't have battle res here, so it was a bit unfortunate. So it came down very, very close. So I'm trying to spot everybody, try and keep them alive. But what you can do here, and you'll notice that I did do it a couple of times, is I learned this from a TikTok or something. If you um if you line of sight him when he starts his knives or whatever. So obviously I don't know when he's going to cast it, but I knew for a fact that he was going to do it soon. You can see we line of sighted it and it did not go on me. So I was like, sweet. Okay, let's just try and do it again. So I see the thing and I'm like, okay, we gotta go fast before he can knife me. And thankfully I got through that without touching the circle. And then we held our interrupt for the last second. We just nicely clutch this out and we time it with 30 seconds left. Kind of wild. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!